Yo, what's up, Benny? What's going on, my man? It's the opening line. How's everybody doing today? On a lonely Thursday, a lonely sports Thursday in July, Benny. One of the worst sports days of the year.
Adam Schefter's Twitter game is elite. That's how I'm going to start the show off today because there is nothing going on. Like, you and I literally sat here for 10 minutes. Normally, it's like a 2-minute conversation before the show. Like, yo, we'll talk about this, we'll talk about this, we'll talk about this. If there's time, we'll get to this, this, and this. We sat here for 10 minutes like, yo, what are we going to talk about after that? We got this, we got that. And then, like a gift from God, Adam Schefter drops the bomb that Melvin Gordon basically told the Chargers, either give me a new deal or I'm pulling a Le'Veon Bell. Yeah,
and I guess we can start there, Benny. Obviously, it's going to have fantasy football ramifications with that one. But then again, if they give him the new deal, which I think that they likely would, I don't see this being a situation where they dig in. I mean, it's time for Melvin Gordon to get paid. That should be the case. That should be the situation. Our boy, the King, Scott Engel.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that he never liked, players that have long holdouts. Because he feels like a long holdout leads to an injury early in the season.
I don't disagree, which is another reason why, starting to look at the guys who are going to benefit if, whether he, maybe worst case scenario, he holds out, he gets traded, or like you're saying, a guy who's not out there running around and getting into shape and then tries to hop in and take 20 carries early in the season, or a guy who's now a bigger injury risk because of it, it's going to open up some value behind them with those other running backs.
He is currently going off the board as the fifth running back after the big four. Most likely he's the one that goes next. I believe he is the safest. If this does get to be a lengthy holdout, then I think you start to see some people start to drop him down his board. But for the most part, until I see a lengthy holdout, Benny, I'm holding still with Gordon at the fifth running back.
I'm not.
Really? You're going to start already?
I mean, listen, you could ask anybody. To me, like I said, there's a reason I called this a Le'Veon Bell situation because this is exactly what happened last year with Le'Veon Bell. At the beginning of these drafts, when everybody was drafting in July, around July 4th, nobody was even contemplating the fact that Le'Veon Bell might not be there. It was like, well, of course Le'Veon Bell's going to play. They're either going to work it out or they're going to trade him or something's going to happen. But nobody even contemplated or really was giving a lot of respect to the fact that you might not see Le'Veon Bell. I mean, he was still going top 2, top 3 picks in a lot of these drafts. We didn't see him all last season. This is the new NFL. This is the way it is right now. This is why there's going to be a holdout because of things like this to collective bargaining. The team has a 5th-year option on him. Gordon doesn't want to play on a 1-year, $5 million deal. I really honestly don't think he's going to wind up playing. I think there's at least a big enough chance for me to not be going number 5 with Melvin Gordon. To me, this just pushed David Johnson up ahead of him if I have the 5th pick in a draft or if I'm going to pick the 5th best running back off the board in a draft.
Looking at his contract right here, and he's coming up on the end of his first deal.
Mm-hmm.
He's not eligible for to be franchise tagged, anything like that yet. The way his contract is set up. He needs more security than this. I agree with him 100% on that one right there. They need to extend him. I'm looking at this deal right now. Like you said, he's going to make $5 million this year. This is essentially, the last year of his deal. He'll be an unrestricted free agent. So they're going to look to franchise tag him in the offseason. That's exactly what the organization is looking to do. Throw him in the franchise tag. He's looking for the commitment from the organization right now. I don't know, Benny. I think he gets it.
I don't think he does. And honestly, it's not a knock on Melvin Gordon. It's just the way the salary cap is right now. He wants to get paid. Like Todd Gurley just got paid. Le'Veon Bell just got paid. Somebody else. There were 3 running backs that just got paid. And his agent was basically talking about he wants to be in that same category as those guys. So now we're talking about a guy you got on the books this year for $5 million that wants a long-term deal, meaning 4 or 5 years, with that kind of money, which is going to mean $15, $20 million a year. And he's probably going to want at least half of it up front. So you're looking at a guy who wants a 4 or 5 year deal worth $50 to $75 million with $20 to $30 million up front on it. I really don't think the Chargers are willing to give him that. I mean, the Chargers just spent money on Bosa. They got high money into Rivers already. They got money into Allen already. I really don't see it happening, to be honest.
I would do if you do the Le'Veon Bell deal. If you do the if you do the Devontae Freeman deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you give him the Devontae Freeman style extension, where you do about 3 years, about $22-23 million, with about a $6-7 million base salary, I think that's a fair extension right there. I think they should be able to do that.
But does he take that?
Huh?
Does he take that?
Will he take? I think so, Benny.
His agent saying he wants Le'Veon Bell, Todd Gurley kind of money.
I think he'll. Yeah, I mean, listen, he's proved it. I don't see this situation being too dire. I think they can get this done, Benny. I think they can get this done. I think if he comes in at about that $6, well, obviously the guarantees are going to be important. But if he can come in about that $6 or $7 million season range for the next 3 seasons, I think that locks him up.
All right, so here's the flip side of this, right? Last year when they tagged Le'Veon Bell, what was the number? Wasn't it like $15 or $18 million they had to pay him?
It was a big number like that,
All right, so if he takes a 3-year, $22 million extension, he can get 5 this year anyway from playing. And if they franchise him next year, they're going to have to pay him that same, probably even more, but that same $15, $18 million. So that's $20 million, right? It's $21 million right there.
Yeah.
So I mean, for him to take a 3-year, $22 million deal, he's actually losing money.
Well, he won't be playing on the 1-year deal. See, that's the scary part of the running back is playing on that 1-year deal. Because you feel that 1-year deal, that could be your last check. You feel what I'm saying? And that kind of was Le'Veon Bell's thing. If I play on this 1-year deal, okay, yeah, I'll make $14 million this year, but this could be the last $14 million I make. Let me guarantee myself another $25, $30 million before I play again.
I guess. I honestly think that there's a lot more. You seem to think that this is less of a big deal than I do. I think that there's a big problem here because this is what happened last year with Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
And I think this is like the new normal in the NFL. I think that the NFL players are starting to act like the NBA players where they realize, hey, we have more power than these owners and want us to think we do. Mm-hmm. And we can move our way out of places if they don't want to pay us. You either pay me what I want to, what I deserve and what I want to be paid, or I'm not going to play and you're going to wind up trading me somewhere else because it's a bad business decision for you not to do it.
Yeah.
And that's really the way that it is right now in the NFL. So I think this is a problem.
Bell didn't have no commitment to the Steelers last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Gordon still has a year under contract. So he really technically already has a contract for this season. When Bell did that last year, his contract, he didn't have to sign that 1-year agreement. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Gordon is already under this contract. The NFL, if he decided to play and he's under contract, that would be very difficult to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a team option that they picked up, right? So it depends on how you look at it, because he's looking at it from the way of like, well, listen, I didn't negotiate this contract. This isn't something that I would have wanted to do. This isn't something that I wanted. Again, what he's trying to do and what his agent's trying to do is force their hand, because he's basically saying, listen, I'm under your – whether or not he plays this year, that $5 million is not – it's not like the Chargers can go and sign another running back for $5 million. That's on your salary cap. That's on your books right now.
Yeah, this is true. You're right. There's a $5 million cap hit. You're right.
Yeah, so, I mean, one way or another, they're paying that money, meaning that they're now fielding a team minus that $5 million salary and all the different things that it could do for them. I think this is really – does it suck? Yes. But I've always been consistent, Corey, where I'm never going to knock anybody for trying to get their money.
I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah, that's your prerogative. If it was me in that situation, I'd be doing the same thing, making sure that I took care of my kids and everything else, because that's what it's all about. That's really the thing. So when you look at this right now with Melvin Gordon, like, I honestly don't think it's an easy solution. I don't think it's going to get worked out simply, and I do think that there is a real discussion that has to happen about where he goes in drafts now and where the guys who would be his backups are going to go.
See, the problem is this: he's never really made any money. He hasn't made any money yet. Yeah, you lost your audio.
Yeah, I know. I saw the thing flipping out, and that's exactly why he's doing this. You know, it's different if you're 5-6 years in the league and you already had a big contract and you already got those millions. He's on his rookie deal right now.
He's on his rookie deal. This season would be his highest paid season.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So he's not going to risk this without something going down the line, just like Le'Veon Bell was in that situation last year. And that's why I'm saying the way that this is why the Players Association should be pissed off that they signed this deal in the first place in the way it was, because the people that you're paying to represent you, they should have envisioned this being the way things were going to wind up working out and how the players are going to wind up getting screwed with it. And this is why there's going to be a holdout, because this is one of the main things that the players hate. And the owners are going to start hating it now too, because this is how the players are going to counteract that. And that's the thing with these non-guaranteed contracts.
Yeah, I think you're looking at a lengthy holdout. I do think he shows up because he hasn't made enough money yet to sit out to week 10 or whatever it is that you have to mandatory come pick up that check by. So I do think a lengthy holdout is on the way. Looking at the Charger organization, they're not ready to dig in yet. They can't seem to get out their own way so far. So they still got a quarterback on the books. Like you said, they got Bosa and some young players on the defensive side on the books also. But obviously Melvin Gordon is a piece that needs to get done. He's under contract. It's going to be interesting to see how they dig in. But I think a long holdout could happen here. But I do think we see him by week 1. And guys like Austin Eckler and stuff like that will move up in draft spending because the fear of that injury is a major possibility.
Well, injury, holdout, trade. I mean, there are 5 or 6 scenarios that now make those guys very interesting. So for those of you who are wondering, what does this mean? What's the impact on this for fantasy? So basically, Melvin Gordon missed, I think, 3 or 4 games last year, right? Or maybe he got hurt in one and then missed the next 3, something like that. So that's what I was doing before we got online here. Like, right as soon as I saw this drop, I said, let me go take a look at this. Because I actually have a pick coming up. I'm in round 10 right now, about to flip around to round 11 of my Scott Fishbowl draft. So Austin Eckler is a guy who's been going around round 10 anyway in a lot of these drafts, around running back 40, around running back 45, like somewhere in that range. So we're a little, because of how many quarterbacks are taken and tight ends early in this kind of format, we're right around the part where Austin Eckler starts coming into play. He's at the top of my draft board right now, Corey. He was like the 5th or 6th guy there. I moved him all the way up to the top of my draft board because this is a guy who was really solid last year, especially in a PPR type format. He was really solid last year anyway and was somebody who, deserves to be like a running back 3, running back 4, even before all this mess kind of happened. But now if you also have the chance to give him a boost in carries to go along with all the third down work that he has, that makes him a very viable option. If you look at those games Gordon missed last year, it was basically like 12 to 15 carries for Eckler and like 7 to 10 carries for Justin Jackson. And they really didn't add anybody else. Like, I think the next guy in line is like Derek Watts or something like that behind him.
A couple of years ago, going down the stretch, you could play Austin Eckler and Melvin
Gordon. Yeah, because it's PPR.
Yep. Play them both. You could put them both in lineup. So interesting to see how this situation is going to play out. Speaking of Scott's Fishbowl, how you looking, Benny? What's the latest?
Yeah, I mean, I only got through one more pick yesterday. So round 9, it's what happened. Somebody took 8 hours, and we didn't even get through an entire round. So the only guy I added to my team, I think it was around 9 or around 10 here. Round 10 was my last pick. So I had the 9th pick in the 10th round. Took Kiki Kuti.
All right.
I like him a lot. I mean, he had that monster game in the playoffs that won me a lot of money in DFS last year. He was like min price, and he had like 10 catches for 100-something yards.
Nice job.
And it wasn't the first time he's done it last year, Corey. I mean, the guy did miss a lot of weeks last year, but the weeks that he was healthy, he ran a lot of those underneath crossing routes, and Deshaun Watson would hit him. And he's athletic, so he can take those and make big gains out of them. And then when you have DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller running the deep routes for you, there's a lot of room underneath and in the middle of the field to operate. So I'm expecting another pretty big season out of this guy, especially in PPR formats.
Health is obviously a big part of what happens with Kuti, you know what I'm saying? If he's out there and he's on the field, I do believe he's a player that can get it done under the guidance of Deshaun Watson. So that's something that I am looking forward to. I think that's a good pick right there. and I'll have some exposure also. Looking at what's going on in my league, I'll tell you what. Let me get up here and tell you about what happened yesterday. I was able to make probably 3 draft picks yesterday. Get you updated on those right now, as a matter of fact. Philip Lindsay joined the team yesterday.
Nice.
Cooper Kupp joined the team yesterday.
Nice.
Our latest signing, also latest member of the team, is my man Tariq Cohen. Benny, whatever, putting it together. You know what I mean? Got a couple more running backs. Got Lindsay in the 6th. Went and got Kupp in the 7th. And then we came back in round 8 with Tariq Cohen. Kupp is my 2nd wide receiver, Benny. And I'm using the safety of Kupp, at least I hope the safety of Kupp, to go along with the big playmaking ability of Odell Beckham, who is no longer rocking the blonde hair.
What color is his hair? It was blonde for so long in New York. I don't even remember.
This is regular color. It's regular black hair. You know what I'm saying?
Dark. Okay. That's tough, man. It's tough to go from the from the dark and make it blonde. You know, a lot of times it doesn't come out that as blonde as he did. He went to platinum. He went the old what the hell is that guy's name? Drew Hill or something like that. The thong song.
Yeah.
Cisco, the old Cisco thong song.
You know, some mornings, before some games, you can tell, like, he must have just got that dye job like last night. You know what I'm saying? It'd be real blonde. And then others you would see where the black was mixed in. Anyway, Odell Beckham's hair has been a topic over the last 12 hours or so. But nonetheless, so that's what I added to my team, Benny. What's at the top of your queue right now? I'm interested.
Well, Austin Eckler's at the top of my queue right now. But I need
to put him at the top of mine too.
Yeah, I'm in round 10 right now. Like it depends where you are in the draft, right? Like until we actually have the news of Melvin Gordon's situation, I'm not telling people like make sure you go out there and get Austin Eckler. Like Austin Eckler deserves to be like a 9th or 10th round pick.
No doubt.
Not a number 1 running back, but like I said, like a 3 or 4 on your team, a 35 to 40 kind of guy, 45 in that range. I'm trying to look at the other running backs that were up on the board so I can give you an idea of who else was available that's around them right now.
I'll pull it up right here.
We still have – okay, I was going to say, like, we still have Kareem Hunt on the board. Behind Austin Eckler, you're looking at guys like Ronald Jones and Peyton Barber are still available. I think a lot of people are just avoiding that situation. You have like Jalen Samuels, Austin Eckler, Jerick McKinnon, Nyheim Hines, Carlos Hyde, Adrian Peterson, Deion Lewis. Like, those are the names that are left right now.
I'll be honest with you. Out of that bunch, I probably would go Adrian Peterson. Outside of Eckler, I agree, would be the top of my board. But I would go Adrian Peterson because I think they didn't cut him. So,
no,
don't get me wrong, I like Geis. I like Geis's talent. I think Geis is going to have a breakout season. But Peterson is still there, and Geis still got to get warmed up. And they specifically didn't cut Peterson. Peterson very well could be this team's starting running back, Benny. And as crazy as it sounds, he wasn't terrible last year.
So Geis had an injury coming in from college.
Yeah.
And then suffered another injury.
Backs too.
Yeah, that's true. And then suffered another injury, though, like before he even got a chance to shine. So I don't think it's crazy that you keep the insurance policy around. Really, the guy came into the league with an injury, got injured right away. There's definitely obviously an injury history there.
They have Bryce Love, and they have Bryce Love. They got Geis. I'm pulling up the Skins roster right now because I
was about to do the same thing when you were talking. Who else we got? Rob Kelly. I don't know if he's still on.
Rob is there no more. I feel like they drafted P. Ryan. Sam P. Ryan still on there?
Yeah, they got Samaje P. Ryan last year. Is he still there too, or did they get rid of him? Chris Thompson.
Ryan is still there. Chris Thompson never going to be healthy. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and he's
Serena's beating the brakes off this girl.
Chris Thompson is more like the third down guy anyway. It's not like he's not going to be a workhorse back. He did it. I think there was like 1 or 2 games where he did it like 2 years ago, and that's exactly when he got hurt, like when they tried to use him too much. He has his role. He's the James White of the Washington Redskins. Like you go handle the passing down stuff. We'll get somebody else to take the beating between the tackles. So I can't imagine him. And I think that's part of the reason why. Again, if you have Peterson to do the running and you have Chris Thompson doing the pass catching, that's a pretty good duo that you got there. You got 2 guys that are that are going to be there. My problem with Peterson, Corey, if you look at some of the advanced stats on him, he had some big runs last year, which make the yardage totals and the yards per carry look kind of nice. But, like, he had so many of those, like, 2-yard runs into the back of his lineman and just dropped, like, 2nd and 8. Or, on 2nd and 7, he picks up 2 yards to put you in 3rd and 5. Like, he really wasn't that productive.
No, and he's always, you know what? Even in some of his best seasons, his propensity to have big runs, a lot of times help put him over the top. But he goes against so many stacked boxes, and he can make one man miss, and then he still has the juice to pick up some big games. Adrian Peterson's the top of their depth chart, along with Chris Thompson. Then you have Darius Geis and Sam Piron. I feel like they drafted Bryce Love, though.
They did.
They did. So Bryce Love is on there, too. Yeah. Bryce Love was the guy people thought could have been one of the top running backs in the class last year. That was not the case. But yes, oh man, the roster. It's like the O line is good, the D line and the secondary is good, and then the playmakers though, they don't have any playmakers. DC.
Yep. You're right. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, this is – and the quarterback play is also going to be very suspect.
Haskins is going to have to try to be the playmaker.
It's asking a lot of a rookie, I mean, we saw Cam Newton come in and start right away as a rookie. We saw guys like even Peyton Manning come in and start as a rookie. Like, there aren't many rookies who walk into the league and have success right away. Like, it's not really something. Although we have seen it more in recent years. I mean, Baker was very good when he got his shot last year. Deshaun Watson 2 years ago. We have seen more young guys come in and make an impact, but those guys also had some players around them. I mean, we don't have a lot of players here in Washington around him that are going to take a lot of the pressure off. So I'm sorry, Redskins fans, but I don't think this is going to be your best season, although I do think things are starting to look up.
You'd be better than the Giants, so that's not good enough for them. No, they want to be better than Dallas, but good
yeah, enough. I mean, that's like being the hottest chick in a, ugly girl convention or something like that. Doesn't really help you out all that much to be better than the Giants. That's not it's not something you got to write home about.
No, it's not. I agree with you on that one. Benjamin, look at the top of my board of what's available. Jordan Howard and LaShawn McCoy is a zero to me. Unless LaShawn McCoy is moved before the season start, no fantasy value to be seen there. I'm not – Jeff, I buddy Jeff Mann's the type of cat where he'll draft every running back on a team and be like, okay, one of them going to hit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'd rather know which one it is that's going to hit. I'm looking at Jordan Howard, LaShawn McCoy, Naheem Hines, and Tevin Coleman, and Kareem Hunt as the top of my queue right now. And then I guess you can put Austin Eckler in that mix too with this news right here.
I like Tevin. I'd probably go Tevin of the names you mentioned.
I agree. If I go running back, I'm going Tevin. But I'm stockpiled at running back the wide receivers. It's like I want the board to suck up the wide receivers, Benny, so I don't overpay for the guy that I want. But
right.
Top of my board right now, wide receiver is Big Mike Williams, and I'm a Mike Williams guy.
Me too.
But I already have Hunter Henry on this team.
And they're both touchdown scorers. Like that's the thing is, it's not like it's Keenan Allen in one of them where you're like, well, Keenan can get his 8-9 targets and 120 yards, and then Henry can get the touchdown and Williams can get the touchdown. I think Williams and Henry are going to kind of – they're two guys in DFS that I probably won't play together. Like I'll play Rivers, Keenan Allen, and Mike Williams or Hunter Henry, but to play Rivers, Williams, and Henry – the thing with Henry and Williams is they both get their value from scoring touchdowns. And if you're going to do that, the one guy is probably going to suck the touchdowns from the other guy. I could see either of them having a big game, but I don't think you're going to get many big games out of both of them in the same weeks.
Yeah. I don't feel like, don't get me wrong, I'm going to have Shares Big Mike this year, but I'm not on a team with Hunter Henry on it. On Jarvis Landry, we've already discussed. I mean, I'm in on Odell. And I think, don't get me wrong, I think Landry will have his moments. But I think Landry is we're not going to see the big 85, 90 catch, 93 catch Landry. I think Odell Beckham is going to have a historic style season because not only do you have a guy that's Hall of Fame talent with a quarterback that's worthy and willing to get him the football, but you got a player that's playing with a chip on the shoulder. and I guarantee you he's going to want to show New York Giants they made a mistake. And actually saw on the SBs last night when they were talking about that situation with him, Tracy Morgan. He mouthed the words, "I'm lucky," and so he's definitely happy to be out of New York, and it's going to be interesting. Also, the Tracy Morgan joke where he asked Saquon Barkley, I heard you can deadlift 600. Saquon said something like that. Tracy Morgan said, good, because you don't have to carry the Giants this year.
That's pretty good, and he's not wrong either. And honestly, you're not wrong either with the Jarvis Landry thing. I mean, we've talked about this before. When there's a number one receiver and another number one receiver comes in, one guy gets his balls, the other guy is going to take a step back. And to me, Odell's the guy that's going to take the step up. Landry's the guy that's going to take the step back. But we actually saw this last year when they switched the offensive coordinators in the middle of the season too. You know, Landry was getting those big 10-target games at the beginning of the year. At the end of the year when Baker came in and they kind of switched things around, the ball was getting spread around a lot more than it was. So you went from Landry getting his 10, 11 targets to Landry getting 6 targets.
I told you
really good.
Why, right?
No, why?
I thought me and you had this conversation.
We may have, but it was a while back. So go ahead for
Yeah, we're both pot smokers. Baker Mayfield's height. So where Landry lines up, Baker Mayfield's height and Landry height, he can't find him, and that's why the dip in his numbers. But now not only can he not find him, he don't really need him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, again, I mean, there's only so many passes that go around. Even if you want to be a pass-heavy team, there's only so many passes to go around. And if you go from being the guy who was seeing the biggest target share of them to now the guy who's second or third in the pecking order. And the thing is, it's not like they don't have other players too, right? Like Njoku is very good. You know, they got running backs out of the backfield that can catch the ball. Like it's not like you need the
Callaway.
Yeah, even Callaway going deep. Like that's what I'm saying. There are multiple options in this offense. It's not like there's nobody else that can do anything with it. So, you know, I mean, remember when he got all those targets in Miami, they didn't really have a tight end. You know, so he was kind of the de facto middle of the field kind of guy there.
You're right, Benny, about that. They damn sure didn't have a tight end.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm not even trying to, you know, to knock Landry. I like his talent. I don't like him for fantasy this year, though. And everybody else likes him a lot more than I do. I should say it that way. So other people are going to draft him before he even falls to the point where I start considering it. So I'm probably going to end up with no shares of Jarvis Landry this year.
I probably will be on the same. I'll probably be overextended on Odell and very under on Mr. Landry. Benny, wide receiver, Denver Bronco uniform.
For me, it's Courtland Sutton.
Really?
Yeah. You like Hamilton?
I don't like none of them.
All right. Again, I mean, I didn't know that there was an option of none.
My bad. Yeah. I should have said if you had to pick one.
I mean, if I had to pick one, I'm going Sutton. But again, not a guy. He's a guy that other people like way more than I do. I mean, to me, the Denver Broncos want to be a running football team, right? Like, I would rather have shares of Phillip Lindsay and maybe like Royce Freeman later on in the draft in case.
They got Devontae Booker on their team. Look at this.
Do they really?
Yeah, son, it's wild. Devontae Booker still getting the check. Shout out to Devontae Booker.
He's doing something right. But, I mean, I would rather have shares of Lindsay than maybe like Freeman later on in the draft as, you know, in case he gets hurt, than I would want to have shares of anybody in that passing game.
Yeah, I agree. The passing game doesn't look good. Where's Emmanuel Sanders at now?
Ooh, that's a good question. I know he's not on them anymore. Oh, wait, is he still there?
He may still be here, right?
Hold on. Let me look this up now.
I don't see him on the depth chart, though.
I thought they traded him. No, he's still on Denver. So, Emmanuel Sanders still, I mean, at least according to the Scott Fishbowl page, Emmanuel Sanders still on Denver. I don't really want him, though. He's kind of slid down, too, to somebody.
You got to be careful. Yeah, Emmanuel Sanders is still on this team. And Emmanuel, let me tell you something, Benny. As long as for the last – if I have a fantasy football team, Emmanuel Sanders is always welcome to have a spot in my locker room because Emmanuel Sanders has been great for me over the years. Emmanuel Sanders is one of the real solid, steady fantasy contributors, underrated fantasy contributors for years now. He always comes at a very good price. He always exceeds his value. But a wide receiver coming off an Achilles injury, Benny, I'm just not, he can get an honorary. If he's still
All
there.
right, so let me ask you this question, right? You got one spot on your bench for an honorary old man slot receiver. You go Larry Fitzgerald or Emmanuel Sanders?
Going to Emmanuel Sanders.
I'm going Fitz.
I got Emmanuel Sanders is a, what I'm saying? Emmanuel Sanders is like Tony Romo. You know what I'm saying? I got a spot for Romo.
That's your guy. I get it.
That's my guy. Emmanuel Sanders is my guy. You know what I'm saying?
That was me the last 3 years with Robbie Anderson. Now everybody else is actually drafting Robbie Anderson too after I won a couple championships with him. So
I think the Noah Fant thing is interesting. Obviously you can't draft him as a tight end one. Rookie tight ends normally don't come out shining. But with the lack of, big time experience at wide receiver and Joe Flacco starting the season as quarterback, we know that Joe Flacco like to throw the football to tight ends. Young tight end, no real big presence on the outside for Denver. I would take a dollar make you holler. That's the first time I said a dollar make you holler in 2019. How about that? A dollar make you holler. We back, Benny. We on now, Benny. I just said a dollar make you holler.
Must be football season, baby.
Must be football season. I put a dollar make you holler on Noah Fant. Welcome back.
There's a couple things that scare me to death here, right? The first is obviously you mentioned, rookie tight ends are not usually productive.
Yep.
So second, third year guys. So you get some of these guys that fail as rookies and then all of a sudden burst onto the scene second or third year when they kind of figure some things out. Like a guy like Mike Gesicki is somebody that I'm going to be targeting late in drafts, hoping that I get that bounce back from him now that he's had a year of NFL football under his belt.
No doubt.
The other thing that you mentioned that scares the hell out of me too is Joe Flacco at quarterback. So I know Flacco likes to use the tight ends, but was that more of a system thing that they were running in Baltimore, or was that Joe Flacco with the tight ends? Because, the thing with Joe Flacco has always been that Joe Flacco's got a big arm and you want him throwing the ball down the field, which is kind of counter to the idea of him using his tight ends all the time, which is why maybe things didn't work out in Baltimore. So was it more of like a scheme thing, or is it more of a,
I think after he tore the ACL and he lost trust in his offensive line and his confidence started to wane,
right?
That's when he started to use the tight end as his primary thing. Now he gets to Denver, whose offensive line is not what it used to be. Joe Flacco has happy feet in the pocket. That's Joe Flacco's biggest problem right now.
True.
He doesn't watch down the field. He watches the offensive line. As soon as Joe Flacco gets the football, his eyes go to the offensive line. He's watching the pass rush. And that's Joe Flacco's main problem right now. It's mental with Joe Flacco. And that's why I think you see a lot of those dump downs. Does he get more comfortable in Denver? It's hard to teach 37, 38-year-old millionaires to do things differently.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But you're right on the money with that, and that's the thing is, I don't know if Joe Flacco is going to change at this point of his career.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could really say that the Denver offensive line is legitimately that much better than the Baltimore Ravens offensive line either. So it's not like those problems are going to be non-existent there. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like I said, I try to stay away from them. I've been there was a wave. Obviously, you had the stud tight ends that got drafted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there was like a wave of that second round of guys, which kind of started with like the Evan Ingrams, the Hunter Henrys, the O.J. Howards, and to me kind of ended when you got into like the Vance McDonald, David Njoku's. Now you're into like the third level of tight ends, and you have all the rookies there, like the kid from Detroit, Hawkinson, and then you have, Noah Fant in there, and then you have like the guy from the Jets and Herndon and Kyle Rudolph.
Austin Hooper's there.
Yeah, Austin Hooper. Like that's what I'm saying. Like that group right there. That's the group that I'm having the hardest time kind of picking and choosing which guys I want. Like to me, I liked Austin Hooper, but I understand that Austin Hooper has limitations. I like him more in PPR because he does have a lot of those like 6 or 8 catch games that he can hop on the scene with.
The thing about it is when Dirk Cutter was last in Atlanta, he had the tight end was used heavily in Cutter's system. So you could see some good stuff from Austin Hooper this year. I like Austin Hooper more than I like Vance McDonald.
See, I really like Vance McDonald. I'm higher on him. I know the problem I have with Vance McDonald isn't Vance McDonald's play. It's the fact that a lot of other people are really high on Vance McDonald too.
That's true. You're right. Yep.
So I'm seeing him get sucked up the draft board more than I wanted him to. Like, this was a guy I was hoping I was going to be able to get in like rounds 10 to 12 in drafts. And he's getting sucked up in rounds 7 and 9 right now, like along with that second wave of the Hunter Henrys, the Evan Ingrams, the Njokus, like those guys that are right behind the studs. So as long as he's going to be getting sucked up in that group, I'm probably not going to wind up with a lot of shares of him because it's earlier than I really want to take a tight end. Although I do think that of a lot of those tight ends, like he's a guy that does have the ability to have some big games, and he's a big body. He's a good target. They don't have Jesse James anymore, so there's a lot of upside to Vance McDonald this year, I think.
I'm looking at this draft board, Benny. Oh, I got to draft another quarterback, bro.
You have 2 already? You have 2 or you have 3?
I have 1.
Oh, so this is going to be your second. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's what I meant. You have 1, you're getting your second.
I need to get my second, and I didn't realize that
how many quarterbacks are off the board already in your draft?
It has been a quarterback run, Benny.
That's it.
Yeah, I when I went to sleep last night, the Cats started drafting quarterbacks. And then, so 23 have been drafted. So
that's crazy. And what round are you guys in?
In the 8th.
23 in the 8th round?
Yep.
So we're in round 10. We're in round 10. There are 23 that have been taken, and we're in the 10th round.
Crazy, right?
Yeah. And I'm the only one that doesn't have 2. I still only have 1. I'm going for my 11th round pick. I only have 1.
It's me and one other guy that only have 1. So hopefully, hopefully coming back around on that turn, the Cats at the back end don't grab their 3rd quarterback before I can get my 2nd.
They won't. I don't think anybody's even looking at 3rd quarterback.
You never know, Benny.
That's true.
You cannot predict the draft. I didn't see drafts where Cats take 4 quarterbacks. You know what I mean?
And you know what? I'd be perfectly fine if people want to do stuff like that because you know what my favorite thing about the preseason is? There's going to be at least one quarterback, without a doubt, who doesn't make it to opening day.
Yep.
There's going to be one guy here who everyone's looking at as a starter that is not going to be the starter on opening day. It happens every year.
Give me a September Ryan Fitzmagic, baby.
Again, I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick, even your boy Dak Prescott 2 years ago, Dak wasn't supposed to be the starter.
You're right.
If you were doing this draft in July, if you weren't taking Dak, all of a sudden, sometime in August when the fab opens up for Scott Fishbowl, Dak Prescott's the guy going for $90 or $100 on every team. You know what I mean? Happens every single season. There's going to be a guy who gets hurt at some point between now and September, and there's going to be a whole bunch of people blowing their entire fab budget on him in a league like this.
No doubt. I agree with you on that one, Benny. So you're right. You will see it happen, and you're right. If they do that, and sure, go ahead and take it. Since I'm here now, and I'm in that realm. I tell you what I got at quarterback. I already have Matt Ryan. On the board is Andy Dalton, Marcus Mariota, Matt Stafford, Eli Manning, Joe Flacco, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Case Keenum, Derek Carr. Interesting.
So Derek Carr got drafted before Jimmy Garoppolo in my league, and I thought that was a little crazy. But then I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, you do have Antonio Brown there, and if people are expecting Antonio Brown to have a big year, somebody's got to throw him the ball, right? And then you have, Jalen Richard still out of the backfield, and Jalen Richard's a pretty good receiving back, and he's going to get some balls thrown his way as well. And I don't think it's crazy. I mean, listen, we don't think the Raiders are going to be good, right?
No.
So you expect them to be playing from behind. If you're playing from behind, you're usually leaning more pass heavy. Again, am I expecting 350 and 3 out of him? But no, the guy was an MVP candidate 2 or 3 years ago. He's arguably got some better weapons, or at least some weapons that his coach wants to use a little more right now. It's not crazy when you're talking like a QB2 somewhere around like 22, 25,
I worry about this contract and Gruden trying to figure out a way to get out this contract. And if the play starts slow, Gruden can say, okay, you know what? You got Trevor Lawrence coming up. You got Tua Tagovailoa. You got what's my man in Georgia, Jake Fromm. You got all these young quarterbacks coming. they could try to get out of this at some point. And that's what I worry about with Derek Carr. His safety. Is Derek Carr going to be when they open up that stadium in Vegas, is Derek Carr going to be this team's quarterback?
Very likely not if there's a chance for them to get out of it. But here's the upside of why I wouldn't worry about it this year. Mm-hmm. He's their quarterback this year because all those guys you mentioned, they're still playing college football.
You're right.
And if they do happen to have an opening to trade him this year, the only way you're trading for Carr this year is if you're a team you're a team that had a chance to make a Super Bowl run and your starting quarterback got hurt. Like Tom Brady got hurt and they aren't, sold on whoever they had as their backup. Something like that happens where the team that trades for Carr this year isn't trading for Carr to put him on their bench. They're trading for Carr to kind of hold the fort until their starter comes back or to kind of, salvage their season. So one way or another, I still think he's going to be getting snaps, even if it's not on the Raiders this year. But as of now, I think he's the Raiders quarterback because I don't think that quarterback of the future is on this roster. So it's not like you're giving somebody else a chance because you think they're your future. You're going with Carr right now.
Who's going to have to deal with it? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I agree with you on that one. I'm looking at his deal right now. They extended him too fast.
Because again, 2 years ago when you had Crabtree and Cooper on the outside, they had that one huge year when Seth Roberts caught all those touchdowns and all that. He had that 1 year where he was literally knocking on the door for the MVP, and then he's kind of regressed ever since.
Yeah, they extended him a little bit too fast, and for my liking. It's like if you're going to keep this big quarterback contract right here, then you should have kept Khalil Mack.
Again, you're not going to argue with Khalil Mack. Getting rid of Khalil Mack was stupid. To me, that was stupid.
You get rid of this overpaid quarterback. You don't get rid of Khalil Mack. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, that's neither here nor there. Prize picks for the day. No, don't have anything up right now. You do got one baseball game. Benny, you said you weren't too interested in that one tonight. I will give you Liz Cambage for prize picks. The Aces versus the Fever in the WNBA. That's Liz Cambage. She goes off for them all the time. So there you go right there. Prize picks. The promo code is ELITE. Don't forget fantasyguru.com. Already up and rocking for fantasy football in 2019. Go over there and get subscribed, and you can be ahead of the pack. What else we got going on, Benny?
No, I was going to say for MLB, like Corey was saying, there's only one game tonight. It's Texas against Houston. Texas is a very left-handed heavy lineup, a lot of home run hitters, but they're all from the left-hand side. Houston is starting this young kid, Framber Valdez, who's a lefty. He's supposed to be a big prospect. He had a couple good starts this year, and he's coming off of two negative performances on DraftKings, which were really bad starts. So this one could kind of go either way. Decent pitcher on the mound for Texas and Lance Lynn. Never been a huge Lance Lynn fan, but the guy has been pitching pretty well. So I got to at least give him his props. I really like a lot of the unders here. I mean, I wouldn't be heavy on a lot of the Texas overs if you're playing on my prize picks. Like a guy like Joey Gallo, this is one of those games where he's more likely to go 0 for 3 than he is to go 0 for 4 with the home run. The problem is the home run is one swing that's enough to put you on the over. So it's always risky, and that's why I'm kind of staying away from it. But if I was going to pick something here, I'd be looking at a lot of the unders. They only have 5 or 6 guys that are even available in MLB on prize picks. So with one game, it's not really the best slate to play.
Give me a possible home run hitter in tonight's game.
Possible home run hitter, you probably want one of the lefties on Houston. So Michael Brantley, Josh Reddick.
Okay. Michael Brantley to hit a home run in the Astros. The win is plus 700.
I like it. I mean, Texas is definitely a home run hitter's ballpark. I haven't looked at the weather yet, but just judging by the way it usually is, it's probably hot as balls in Texas, which means
yeah, I'm sure it's not.
Yeah,
it's not the 60s.
Yeah. Probably 85 and hazy as hell. When it gets hot in Texas, the balls tend to fly out of that stadium. So I would have no problem. Plus 700 on Brantley, you said?
Plus 700 on Brantley, plus 850 on Reddick.
I mean, those are pretty big numbers. I'd be willing to throw some money on it. I know, again, I'm not throwing a $200 bet on him. It's this is like a $20, $25 bet kind of thing.
A leisure bet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're getting 7. You're going to give me 7, 8 to 1 on lefties in the home run hitters ballpark in a good splits matchup. I'd be willing to take that.
There you go right there. For my main man, Benny, is Corey Parson, the fantasy executive. We out.